Alright, this is for Ken Slate. Got this Vengeance mold here, and I've got the mask coming out right now. What I need to ask is, Ken Slate, what color do you want this in? I'm pulling it out of the mold right now. I need to ask what color you want it in, buddy. I can do this in movie gray, or I can do this in the rotty green brown colors if you like that. So all I need you to do is reach out to me on Messenger and let me know what coloration you want on this. So I can get it done right for you. I see people, sometimes when they pull mask out of a mold, they just do this thing where they just take it off the side to rip it out. I don't like to do that because on some of these, like this particular one, the Vengeance, there's a lot of details. And if you just rip it out, you run the risk, even in cured latex, of damaging some of the details and ripping holes in it. This is a pretty thick display mask I did cast for him. So this one is going to be a display for Ken Slate. I don't know if any of you guys know, Ken Slate's an actual real person, not just a character in the movie. Peter Anthony played the character in the movie, and there is a guy, real name is Ken Slate, who that character is based off of. So, Ken Slate, here it is. Vengeance Jason. Now I've got to do a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of dremel work, clip, that type of thing. But there's your display mask. Now what I'm going to do, move us over to the other side, and we're going to put this up. I don't have my thing here. I've got a project here. This is one that I got in the mail. I haven't worked for the paints to come out. I just got the brushes. This is a personal thing. It's Pumpkinhead. It's a foam-filled latex. I did not make this. I don't know who the original artist is on this, as a matter of fact. But it is a beautiful piece. I was glad to buy it because I've always wanted a Pumpkinhead is a local legend around here. For real, not just a movie. That is a real legend that started out and they made it into a movie. So, what I'm going to do is just paint that up. That's going to be a personal project for me. Actually, let me see if I can't put this on here. I actually like to take my molds and put them on here. I can do this. Put this mask on the stand here and fucking paint it up if it'll work. It's not going to fit. Somehow or another, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but these masks are pretty big. I had the actual fucking, what do you call it, the Monster Maker's mold I sculpt from, but I haven't been able to get that. I still got clay on that because I've got a project that I'm trying to finish and stuff. So I'm not going to start on this as far as, I'm going to just start the painting and stuff on it, but I'm not going to do the colors until, thank you, Dave. I'm not going to do the colors until I get word from Ken Slate on what he wants insofar as coloration goes. I still got a little bit of clay debris in that mold, and it comes out. It's really hard because, like I said, the details and shit are so fine in this mask that I will take it, and it's monster clay, so it actually makes more embedments and porous details in it. And I've made a number of copies, and I've had to redo it. So what I'm trying to do with this is I've also thought about going back and remolding the entire thing and doing it kind of continually correct and adding some more damage to it, but I've got a couple of more projects that I'm working on to try to get done in resin. Moving more towards a resin for a couple of people than the actual latex. So, like I said, I've got all the world to do this right now, pretty much 24/7, but the weather is a factor in this, and it contributes to the cure times and that type of thing. Okay, already I'm seeing a couple of small holes here, just little tiny ones, and that's why I kind of put this up here. Make sure this is done. I need to find my liquid latex and patch them up. Liquid latex. I've got it around here somewhere. I know it there. I've got it around here somewhere. There you go. Right here. Get a hole in a mask. And I can show you one hole. There's just one hole right there. And what I would do, take a Q-tip or a popsicle stick. Okay. Liquid latex. You can buy this at the Halloween store. Just take it and dip it in there. And you can go from the top if you want. If it's going to obscure any details, you can do that from the top, or you can do it from the bottom. And what I do is just kind of spread the mask out a little bit and dab it on it. And what it does is it fills that hole. And as long as it's not obscuring any major details, that's fine. I've had one person, a local friend of mine, who bought a mask from somebody and brought it in, and it was chock full of microscopic holes, and it took us the better part of an hour for me to go in and repair all these little tiny holes. And the reason being is because if this is a display, so this is not something that somebody is going to wear. It has a hole in it. All that pulling on and off and everything will cause that mask to become distorted, and it risks pulling the rubber, because when you do pull a rubber mask on and off, there's tension. It's like a rubber band. You can only pull it so much before it's going to snap and break. So that's pretty much that. So I always make sure to check all the holes pinned up if there are any. And so then from there, just come along here and kind of cut this. And because this is a display, I'm going to cut it right on the shoulder area and leave some of this as a, this is just part of the mold, but leave some of this as a, God, I can't think. I'm trying to talk and I can't think. As a support for the display. Alright, and we'll come up here on the front. I'm going to stand in front of this. There you go. Now you guys can see it because I'm standing in front of the window. I notice there's a light glare on the window. Apologize for that in advance. So, like I said, what I'm going to do is just cut this a little bit long on the shoulder area. So, Ken, whenever you put this on display, it's likely to look like it has a little bit of shoulder formation. So, alright, so you got it trimmed down the front. Let me do this. Okay, you got it trimmed down the front, on the side, and in the back. All I got to do is hear from Ken on what color he wants this. We'll get to work on it effective immediately. And probably do a live paint up. I've already done a couple live paint up things, so that's good enough on that. So there we go. I've also got Jason Goes to Hell in conversion to resin, which will be happening shortly. I'm still working on that, but like I said, the weather is a factor in that. The weather can keep things from curing or setting properly. So I'm taking my time with that to make sure that I get that done and dusted in the right manner and fashion. To make sure this airbrush is good. This is good, but I've got some residue in here from the Mr. Freeze paint job. And I don't want to be spraying blue particle shit on the thing. So I'm going to switch out brushes here. This is my new brush, detail brush. I don't spend a lot of money on brushes like a lot of people do. I don't believe that a $75 Iwata Badger brush will do as good a job, if better, than a regular $12 Chinese, fingernail brush. That's why I kind of go with the less expensive ones, because if these ladies in the salons can make all those intricate designs and fingernails with them, I'm sure I can do the same thing on a mask or a resin piece as they do. So, that is basically why I will buy cheaper. Now, that's not to say that anybody that owns or buys a Badger or any other brush is doing it wrong. It's not. It's just my personal preference to why I choose something over another. Okay, well, airbrushing is going to be delayed for a while because I've got a couple of brushes here that aren't quite cleaned out. And I'm going to see if I can get some backflow in here and clean this out. That might work. Yep, there it goes. Alright, get a little bit of paper towel here and clean this up. I don't know about any of you other guys that do latex masks, but a famous person at a convention once told me that any pieces that you have that you cut from your mask, save them. You can actually use them in other projects. If you have like something you're doing, like zombie body parts or something like that, these can actually be, you know, used in that. Not a sculpting or anything like that, but like a scene, like say Walking Dead or something like that. You can actually do that with those. I'll start out with a little black, a little bit thinner. Backwash it. Make sure it comes out. Might have to switch up brushes. I've got a couple of them. Oh, there we go. Been so cold and everything that the there we go. There we go. Let's see what we got here. It's actually coming out a lot lighter than I wanted to, but put down a base coat on here to cover any of the details and shit. I apologize about this window. I don't know what to do about it. It's not letting it show up, but this is part of the problem. Usually do it late at night. And the reason I put a black underlayer on these things is because the pore detail, if you just layer like colors over it, like gray and whatnot, or red or brown or whatever it is color you're using, the latex underneath will always show up. And it really doesn't look good to have like tan spots showing up. So this is like a primer coat of smoke gray, smoke black, charcoal color. And then again, no matter what color I put on top of it, as long as this is dry, it will not really blend or run in together. And I can hit it with clear coat just to separate the colors. But like I said, this is just a an undercoat, like a primer coat, to make sure that I get all these little pores and shit filled in with black or dark pigment. And that's really all I'm going to do right now, is just do the undercoat, because Ken hadn't gotten back to me on what color he wants it. So I'll hold off on finishing it up and doing all that stuff until I get the word from Ken as to what he wants. And I can do the whole thing in a primer coat of black or gray, and then turn around and come back with Q-tips and airbrush thinner and lighten it up. Hey Vicky, thank you for tuning in. I'm not really being a good host with chatting back and forth. I'm just kind of mostly doing a up here on this. So I've got one part here that's actually recessed inside the head. It's actually a recess that I built into the sculpt, and it actually deteriorated in the mold, and it actually shows better. So that's a benefit sometimes. It shows better on the piece as a sunken in deterioration. Ah, shit. Get this thing and think I'm gonna hold up. Wipe it off, but it's all gonna go in there anyway, so it doesn't matter if I make a mistake or not. It can easily be fixed and covered up. So So basically all of this is, like I said, it's just a gray coat of, like a primer coat. And I don't use latex. I don't spray latex through my brushes and use it on display pieces. I've got a little bit different technique that I learned from somebody, a couple of people, on how to do that. Where, especially if it's a static, what I call a display piece is a static piece, meaning it's just going to be for movement and that's it. There's not going to be any trying to wear it and all that stuff. It's just a that's where you can take a display piece and use an overcoat or layer coat of wet or flex gloss or anything like that. Different people do different things with it. So it really depends on the person doing it, what they want to do, how they want to present it. I'm sorry, Vicky, I didn't see it. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna, like I said, this is a personal piece for one of the guys in the film, Ken Slate. Well, he wasn't in the film, but he's a character in the film. but he's a real guy in real life. And to make him one of these. So far from the film, I've made Jason Brooks a resin bust. I've made Tommy McLaughlin a resin bust. And now I'm making a latex display mask. So, shit, this is not working. A little tighter. The reason the phone is so far away is because my display stand that I bought from Walmart's in the house, and I didn't bring it out because I didn't think I was going to do a live video until the last minute, and I thought, nah, I'll just go ahead and let Kent know that his mask is ready. Got some. There we go. No big deal. Oh yeah. Yeah, it just looks differently from the way it usually does. I usually have a display stand up and ready and running with the phone. Yeah. I think you guys might like the new resin project. Well, shortly, I'm going to have a friend of mine, Joe Evans, is going to get the first copy to do a paint up. Because Jody Evans is not only a tattoo artist, but he's a god with an airbrush. I mean, seriously, the dude is just so talented with an airbrush. It's incredible. He really makes me yearn to learn from him on how he does it, techniques, and all that stuff. I really, 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 really love watching Joe work and seeing the pieces that he paints up from people. He does an incredible job. So, I wish I could get this thing to spray out faster and quicker, but it won't do it. Now I've got it moving. You got one side done right there in gray. And like I said, this is just a primer coat. This is no way in anything. It's just getting started. I've still got to go through a lot of detailing, a lot of paints, and a lot of work and stuff like that. It's not going to be something that's going to be a bing, bam, boom, get it done quickly shit. I take my time with these. I can get them knocked out in a day or two, but when it's a special project for a special person, I try to get it done best as I can for that person. And I am no means a professional at this. There are people that have been at this for 20 years. So I don't expect my work to be compared to theirs and say it's, oh, it's better. That's not the case. I am learning as I go on everything I do. I think, though, I do adapt a little bit different style to try to stand out a little bit more from other people. Don't want to step on toes or cause problems or anything like that. So I do try to change up. I'll study a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff on how to do stuff. Ask a lot of questions and stuff like that. But I do change up things how I do it. And people will say, oh, you're taking shortcuts. Well, call it what you want. It's just me doing a different style and sometimes doing it faster than what, trying to see what works and doing it quicker and faster to get it out there easier. But at no means does it reflect on the quality of what it is. This sat in the mold for 3 days curing since Friday, and I just pulled it out today. And the reason I did that was because it's cold in the shop. I did have fans on it, but the cold air will keep the latex from curing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, cold air does keep and restrict latex from curing properly. So I had to leave it in there just as extra added insurance that, it will cure. I do have a propane heater in here, but I don't like running it when I'm not in here. So, and then I'm so terrified of blowing something up because you guys know I do smoke. So, it can be a problem, smoking around propane gas. I want to pull this phone over here just a little bit. Let me see if I can get a better angle on this. Pull this over. What I'm doing. That might work. That might work a little bit better. Just kind of want to make sure you can see all the details in this thing. That's why I like to doing a black underlayer, because it does pop out really nicely with some of the details. Let me make sure my black, there we go. I know it's spotted sleeves and stuff, but I don't mind that, because the spots are going to show up. anyway. And they just add to the character dimensions of the mask. So I had a backflow on this thing anyway. Back bubble up. Well, see, when I put this in here and I'll pull out the latex because I want the details of the wrinkles and stuff to be filled in with black so they'll stand out more when the gray and stuff goes over or whatever color goes over. So when there's a lot of details in high areas or low areas, I will go in and fill those in so they can stand out a little bit more. Kind of get a little depth in there. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't, depending on where it is. I'll buy blanks and do paint ups because I have a different, want to do it differently than, how others may do it and present in a different coloration or something. And sometimes that does work depending on the details of it. But it's all done to help me better my airbrushing skills as well as do things differently and experiment. Because I'm not a mass producer of these things. I mean, I do here and there just, a couple. This is not I'm not like Tots or anybody else or any of these independent guys that are, cranking these out on a daily basis and, paint them up and get them out the door and blah, 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 blah. I'm just a one-man operation, nothing special, independent artist, just doing the same. I'll see it. Yep, I appreciate it, Vicki. I will, of course, it's being a Facebook Live, it'll go up, but it'll take me a while to get this done. And I likely won't do it live because you guys are seeing this, so I'll just go ahead and, paint it up, pop it off, that type of thing. But, like I said, I'm just waiting on the coloration scheme the guy wants, whatever he wants, what color he wants it in. And I don't want this to be an extended, long video, so, as you guys get bored watching it, people have the attention span of gnats. They don't want to watch anything. They got better things to do than watch some guy paint a mask. Not the most exciting thing in the world to do. For me, it's like a Buddhist experience, sorry. It's almost religious. Fly fishing and airbrushing are like religious experiences for me because I can look at a piece and, kind of see in my mind the way it's supposed to look, and I try to match that to what's in my mind. And there again, try to do things differently from the way people normally do it. That's why I don't always do everything in the movie versions. I offer different color schemes and stuff like that just to be unique. I've taken friends' masks that they've sold me a blank and painted up 160 degrees differently from what he did, just to show him, hey, this is a different way that it can look. Here's how I do it. And maybe this will be something that you can do. If people like your mask and they want a different, it's an option. And it's just me personally, and this is not a reflection on anybody's work, but sometimes I think the same old thing in the same color is boring. It really is. You can take one piece like this and paint it different colors and make each color scheme look unique and good. I've done a lot of experimenting with it and painting camo colors and that type of thing, and they've come out really good. At least I think they have. Other people have liked them too, but it really depends on the individual, what they want. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I poked my finger out to turn this latex inside out to make sure I get all that covered and no latex is showing. See, that's a recessed area, but it comes out in a new form. And then, like I said, there's pores here in the skin, so, textures. I try to get those textures to pop out and stand out. And that's why I go in and do a black undercoat. And it doesn't have to completely cover everything, it just has to make them stand out. Black underlayer just fills that in. It's more like a gray charcoal color, but it fills it in. And then, like I said, here's a place where I spilled paint. I didn't clean it up because I knew that paint was going to get in there. And it's already coming out the gray color of the movie. So if a guy happens to pick the movie design and wants the gray color of the movie, okay, well, there's the start in one area. So happy accidents are a good thing. And basically this is it. This is just all I do is just go over the whole thing kind of like a gray color like this to make it stand out. I'll go back in and detail it later. Not an issue. So you guys see this, and if you know anybody that likes it, wants it, that type of thing, I can. It doesn't have to be for Halloween. It can be. Now here's another thing. I don't know if you can see this. Another happy accident. Right here on the ear, this latex had a bubble that popped. That becomes a part of the skin texture. It's stuck on there well enough that it's just part of the mask. I leave it on there. And that just becomes a happy accident, which just becomes a further, better detail to the mask. Probably won't happen like that every single time, but in this case, it works. Oh, and just as a plug in a promo, so you guys know, this is my version of the Jason from Vengeance, the movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go on YouTube and look up Vengeance 2.0. There is another that did his version, and it's really good. It's detailed, but it's a different look to this. He has a unique style. He does his mask in, but he's the other guy that's done the Vengeance version. Mine is more a kind of a rotted, dead zombie look, as in what I thought it would look like in real life. You know, if this was reality, of course it's not. It's all fan film fiction, but the my thinking was, okay, I don't want to look too cartoonish or campy or anything. This is something that has to look seriously scary, you know. And different artists have different styles. They want to go, okay, I want to be a little bit, you know, unique with this, so I'll change this detail, or I'll improve on this, or I'll make this look different, just so they can put their own spin and signature. And that's what I did with this. This is actually from the photos from the film. Two masks were done by CFX, and they're held privately by Don Shell and Jason Brooks as the owners of the only two masks that were made in silicone from the movie. And all I did was Jason Brooks sent me the photos, and I studied those and sculpted it in clay on a form, and a bunch of techniques and stuff I learned in taxidermy on skin molding and that type of thing. And it didn't work out because I kept falling back and relying on the roll techniques of stuff. And then Don Shell's mom was like, get a hairbrush, mount down the clay and just punch holes in it. Okay, I tried it and the effect worked. And it was a dog grooming brush that did that. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So, you know, I did have some guidance and help on that. I had, you know, problems with some textures and stuff, and kind of reached out to other people on how do you such thing. And, you know, like I said, I'm learning. I'm always learning. You know, I may have not been doing this that long, but, you know, I have been working in other arts, taxidermy and stuff, where I have picked up some skills on airbrushing and stuff like that to be able to come into this field and try my hand at this, you know. The only thing that really gets me is the human detail is a lot different from animals. So doing that detail work with humans is a bit more integral, because animals don't really have expressions They do have some, but they don't have emotions and expressions like humans do. And it's far more fun and challenging to capture human emotion in detail than it is animals. Like all the dead deer skins or the dead deer heads and stuff that you do, you see them, they pretty much look the same. It's just the different poses and all that. That's all that sets them apart. One might be turned to the left, one might be turned to the right, you know, that type of thing. Nothing special, just antlers are a little bit different, you know. And that's about it. So that's why I said, you know, it's kind of a different thing with animals. You know, you can make them look like and realistic, but with that, because they all pretty much look the same. If you took 5 water buffaloes that were mounted the same way and put them side by side, they'd look like 5 water buffaloes standing in a herd, you know, just standing there. There wouldn't be anything different. But with like mask or resin bust or anything like that, you can take each one and make them look differently, even though they're the same. As far as maybe the, you know, the look, the design, and the detail, and you can make them look different. Coloring, expressions, that type of thing. And that's where the challenge I find in doing this is, because is a very good form of art in whatever you might do. It's what makes the pieces pop out. It gives them personality. That's kind of what I think I want to say. It gives the pieces personality. One thing to note, Kent, if you're watching this, see these little eyeball recesses right here? I did those because I was contemplating while we were doing the resin pieces for a very long time of whether to put eyes in it. Now, you know, having seen the movie, that Jason has eyes, but he doesn't have eyes. And you can't really see it. And I figure since this is going to be behind the hockey mask, it's not really going to matter one way or the other. Not like the Part 8 redesigns I did that are over there. Okay, well, I'm out of airbrush paint on this. I'm not going to fill this up. I'm not going to go into further detail with this. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off, go in there, wait for Kent to tell me what he wants, let this kind of dry, set up a little bit, and then I'll come back out and finish it. Not a big deal. So, see if I can flip this around. There we go. Alright. So here's what we have so far. Some places aren't detailed because that's the bone. Easy to get off. Let me get a Q-tip. Paint thinner. Right here's Q-tip and paint thinner. Dip Q-tip and paint thinner. And that comes right. So that's what I'll do sometimes, is just like airbrush and then take it and brush it off. It's no big deal. So, and that's likely the way it will remain for a while. Like I said, just a basic undercoat, not even fully done. But till I get the word on what it is that he wants, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment and just see. And then I'll to get back to this guy. This is my next project right here. This one, oh God, I gotta set this up. Sand this up somewhere and show you. This pumpkin head. And I really wish I knew who the artist was on this, because I like it. And it's very, 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 very nice. But this is one that I bought that is a personal project. Jesus. And I'm going to set that aside so I can get to it. Got all my glossifiers and all this stuff. So, the lid thing. Anyway, I'm going to run and let that be it for now. I'll see you guys later. Appreciate the watching.